Right now, somewhere in your kitchen or fridge, there's probably a bottle of something fermented. Wine, beer, whatever. And here's the thing. You didn't invent that craving. It's older than pottery. Older than farming. Older than the wheel. It might even be older than us, as a species. Because before there were bars, before there was language written down, before anyone planted a single seed on purpose, something on this planet was already getting drunk. Let's go back. Way back, about 21 million years ago, a genetic mutation appeared in the primate line that leads to us. It changed one enzyme, alcohol dehydrogenase, and made it 40 times more efficient at breaking down ethanol. Robert Dudley, a physiologist at UC Berkeley, has spent years studying why that mutation stuck around. His idea is called the drunken monkey hypothesis, and it's less romantic than it sounds. Fruit falls off trees, sits on the forest floor, and starts to ferment naturally. Animals that could process that alcohol without getting poisoned got extra calories other animals couldn't touch. So here's the twist. And remember it, because we're coming back to it. Everyone assumes humans discovered alcohol. But the evidence says the opposite. Alcohol found us, millions of years before we had a word for it. Fast forward to somewhere in the Carmel Mountains, northern Israel, about 13,000 years ago. A group called the Natufians, hunter-gatherers, not farmers yet. This is important. We're living in a place archaeologists now call Raqefet Cave. In 2018, researchers examining stone mortars from that site found residue with the chemical fingerprints of fermented grain mash. Basically beer. Except there was no farming yet, no fields, no domesticated wheat, which creates a genuine puzzle. The textbook story of civilization goes, humans settled down, started farming grain, and beer was basically a byproduct of that shift. Bread and beer, side effects of agriculture. Neat, tidy, makes sense on a timeline. Except Raqefet Cave suggests people were brewing something beer-like before full-blown farming existed. So which came first? The harvest or the hangover? That question actually has a name in archaeology, the beer before bread hypothesis. And no, it's not one guy with a theory nobody else takes seriously. It's been debated seriously for decades because of finds exactly like this one. The idea is that the desire to reliably produce alcohol may have been one of the pressures that pushed hunter-gatherers toward deliberately cultivating grain in the first place. Not to make more bread, to make more beer. Let that sit for a second. The plow, the field, the granary, maybe some of civilization's biggest infrastructure, was built to keep the party supplied. Okay, quick breather, because I know that's a lot. Basically, humanity's greatest hits, farming, storage, permanent settlements, might have a drinking problem to thank. Look, if cavemen had the choice between chasing skittish gazelles across a valley every single day, or planting grain next to the cave and having a reliable buzz on tap, you already know which one they're picking. Now travel east, to the Yellow River Valley in China, to a site called Jiahu, occupied around 7000 BCE. A biomolecular archaeologist at the University of Pennsylvania named Patrick McGovern, sometimes called the Indiana Jones of ancient booze, and yes, that's a real nickname people actually use for him, analyzed pottery shards from Jiahu, and found chemical traces of a mixed fermented drink made from rice, honey, and hawthorn fruit or grape. 9,000 years old. That's roughly 4,000 years before the pyramids of Giza existed. McGovern's broader argument, built from decades of residue analysis across sites on nearly every continent, is that fermented beverages appear again and again at the very edge of what we'd call civilization. Right at the point where humans start settling, storing surplus, and building shared rituals around food and drink. Not as a luxury added later, as one of the founding activities. Here's the bigger question that opens up. Though, why would evolution wire a craving for a fermented substance so deeply? And why would early societies organize entire economies around satisfying it? One answer is nutritional. Fermentation preserves calories, kills pathogens in questionable water, and unlocks nutrients raw grain doesn't give up easily. Another answer is social. Alcohol lowers inhibition, just enough to build trust fast between strangers, which matters enormously if you're trying to stitch together the first large cooperative groups history had ever seen. So again, everyone assumes we built society. And then, once things were comfortable, invented drinking as entertainment. But the evidence increasingly says the opposite. The craving came first, millions of years first. And the societies, the farms, the storage jars, the rituals, those might be downstream of the craving, not the other way around. Let's zoom out and run the whole timeline. 21 million years ago, a mutation in an ancient primate ancestor makes processing alcohol survivable, even advantageous. 13,000 years ago, hunter-gatherers at Raqefet Cave in Israel are brewing something beer-like before farming exists. 9,000 years ago, villagers at Jiahu in China are fermenting rice, honey, and fruit into a ritual drink, 4 millennia before the pyramids. And today, you, standing in your kitchen, holding a bottle of something fermented, without ever once being taught that you're supposed to want it. The twist stands. We didn't domesticate alcohol so much as alcohol may have helped domesticate us. So next time you're holding a drink at dinner, or scrolling past a beer ad, remember, that pull you feel isn't culture. It isn't marketing. It's a 21 million year old inheritance, older than your species, doing exactly what it evolved to do. If you want to dig into the actual studies, the Raqefet Cave residue analysis, or Patrick McGovern's work on ancient fermented beverages, I'll leave some of that in the description. Worth a read.